We're still in Arromanches. We're just outside of the town. Now this is our park up for the evening. It's the Aire the camping car looking right out across Gold Beach. You can't complain about that. And it's €11 for parking for 24 hours. But it is a really lovely park. Shame the weather's gone a bit moody today. And very quiet too, even though there is a road just over there. Got your water, you got your loo drop. It's €2 for 10 minutes worth of water. Not bad for 5 seconds away from where we parked up. The first Mulberry Harbour elements arrived at Arromanches on day 1 and the harbour was operating by day 9. Port construction and floating equipment companies assembled the harbour and kept it operating despite the disastrous storm on the 19th to the 23rd of June. Some 39,000 vehicles and 220,000 men were brought ashore through the Mulberry Harbour by the end of 1944, without which the armies could not have been sustained. What a great and fitting memorial. And this here is a memorial garden which was first displayed at the Chelsea Flower Show in 2019. After that it was gifted to Arromanches Les Bains by the veterans of D-Day, and it was placed here as a memorial to always remember. British forces played a pivotal role in the Battle of Normandy, yet there had been no dedicated memorial to them until the Memorial Trust was set up in 2016. The British Memorial was opened on Sunday the 6th of June 2021 and is located at Franceville-Plage overlooking Gold Beach. Inscribed in stone, it records the names from 30 different countries under British command. The Roll of Honour begins on the 6th of June and goes through until the end of the Normandy invasions on the 31st of August 1944. A French memorial was also placed there, dedicated to the French civilians who lost their lives. They were never 100% sure on the actual number. It was here on the 6th of June 1944. Europe was liberated by the heroism of Allied forces. The Churchill tank, named 1 Charlie, was one of the first to arrive on Juno Beach with a crew of 6. It managed to clear the beaches, however it became stuck in a water-filled crater. The crew abandoned 1 Charlie, however 3 were killed and 3 were wounded by German mortar fire. The crater in the road was a big issue due to the tanks not being able to cross. However, a bridge-laying tank placed a bridge between the crater ridge and the tank's turret roof, allowing the first Sherman tanks to cross. The tank would remain buried for 32 years until it was exhumed in 1976, watched by the 2 surviving crew. Bill Dunn, one of the remaining survivors, died in 2014, and further to his wishes, his ashes were buried next to 1 Charlie's final resting place. Cosey's bunker, easily recognised by its tilt, was the site of fierce fighting on the 6th of June 1944. It owes its name to Lieutenant Cosey Atkins. The Canadian soldier was entrusted with the mission of capturing the fortification with 10 platoon. A first assault by machine guns and grenades enabled them to capture the position, but Lieutenant Atkins was badly wounded in the head. Engineer reinforcements arrived and an explosion toppled the pillbox. The Germans surrendered, but only 26 men from B Company survived this valiant and difficult battle in the dunes. Taking Juno Beach was the responsibility of the 1st Canadian Army. Their objective was to cut the Caen-Bayeux Road, seize the airport west of Caen, and form a link between the 2 British beaches on either flank. The Juno Beach Memorial was opened in 2003 and pays homage to the 45,000 Canadians who lost their lives. The Cross of Lorraine, measuring 18 metres in height, was erected in 1990. It is there to commemorate General de Gaulle's return to French soil on the 14th of June and to honour the fighters of the French resistance. So it's Sunday morning and we're up early. We're up at 10 o'clock and we've just come. The doors are just opened at the Pegasus Museum. So that is where we are now, just near to Sword Beach. So we're going to have a look around and take you with us.
Bloody school party. Many hours before Allied troops landed on the beach of Normandy, a British force of 181 men, led by John Major Howard of the 6th Airborne Division, took off from an RAF base in Dorset in 6 Horsa gliders. Their mission was to capture Pegasus Bridge and also Horsa Bridge, a few hundred metres to the east, over the Aire River. They were to take both bridges intact and hold them until relieved by the main British invasion forces. The object of this action was to prevent German armour from crossing the bridges and attacking the eastern flank of the landings at Sword Beach. Just past midnight on the 6th of June, 5 of the gliders landed as close as 50 metres from their objectives. The attackers completely surprised the German defenders and took the bridges within 10 minutes. The British lost 2 men in the process, Lieutenant Devon Bruffaridge and Lance Corporal Fred Greenoff, who drowned in a nearby pond where his glider landed. Lieutenant Bruffaridge was mortally wounded crossing the bridge in the first minutes of the assault and became the first member of the invading Allied armies to die as a result of enemy fire on D-Day.
And this is James Hill, a founder of the Parachute Regiment. James Hill was the most senior surviving officer in the D-Day landings. He died in March 2006.
The original Pegasus Bridge is now a centrepiece in the grounds of a nearby Pegasus Museum after it was replaced in 1994. The museum was opened by the Prince of Wales on June the 4th, 2000.
going to have to get a squeegee or something to put on this window so that we can clean it in the mornings.
Yes.
Something with a handle so we can reach it. We have now moved on from the Pegasus Bridge Museum and we are now at the battery at Merville.
As part of the initial D-Day invasion, the Battle of Merville Gun Battery was a British-led attempt to destroy German artillery that threatened the main landing force at Sword Beach, 8 miles away. Fire! Lieutenant Colonel Terence Otway and the 9th Parachute Battalion, consisted of 650 men, anti-tank and anti-mine equipment, planned to take the battery just after midnight on D-Day. The plan fell apart because most of the men landed nowhere near the rendezvous point. Some planes missed the drop point, some were shot down, and many of the paratroopers, laden with heavy equipment, drowned in the nearby marshes, flooded by rubble. The German garrison of Merville's battery was made up of 160 soldiers, and in addition to the 4 gun casemates, the battery included an anti-aircraft gun, 50 machine gun positions, a 91 metre wide minefield, an anti-tank ditch, and a 4 metre high barbed wire defence. Despite being hopelessly under-equipped, the scouting party had managed to study the German defence and mark the positions of mines by digging their heels into the earth near them. At 2:50 AM, Lieutenant Colonel Otway decided that with only 150 men, he had to press on. 4 assault groups split up and ran through the minefield paths to reach the 4 casemates, but encountered heavy resistance from German machine gun positions defending the battery. Despite heavy casualties, the men of the 9th Parachute Battalion managed to reach the casemates and use their personal gammon bombs to destroy the artillery. Otway lost nearly half of his already diminished force taking Merville Battery, but saved many of the men who would storm Sword Beach later that day.
So yesterday the weather was really pants, so we headed down to Merville, and there's a little Aire, it's right on the seafront, it's Merville, Franceville-Plage Aire. It's such a quiet site, I have to say. It's well worth coming down here and stopping for the night if you want somewhere quiet. Little Aire, it's enough room for 6 vans, despite the fact someone did actually squeeze in over there last night. And you've also got the hedgerows and that behind you to kind of block you off from the wind and that coming in from the sea, which was quite mental last night. Free to park here, and you've got your services just there. You've got your water and your loo drop. As far as I'm aware, there's no toilets, but I could be wrong, there might be some further down. But if you can't actually get in here, there are also parking spaces outside which aren't really interrupting anyone, so you can park out there for the night if need be and use the services here. The services are €2 for 10 minutes. That should be more than enough. It fills up our tank and we've got 120 litres, so yeah, we've got all that done. Anyway, we're going to be moving on today. We're hopefully heading into Sword Beach. Problem is with that, the weather is pants. We don't know if it's going to change, and we are going home today. We've got a later ferry this afternoon. We're leaving now, and hopefully we will meet you at Sword Beach. If not, it'll be on the ferry home. The assault on Sword Beach began at 3 AM with the aerial and naval bombardment of German coastal defences and artillery sites. Stretching 8 kilometres from St Aubin-sur-Mer in the west to the mouth of the River Orme, The beach was to be the most easterly landing site of the invasion. Taking Sword Beach was to be the responsibility of the British Army. The landing was due to start at 7:25 a.m. 2 infantry battalions supported by tanks would lead the assault, followed up by the commandos and the rest of the division. The engineers set to work clearing mines and obstacles under a steady hail of small arms and artillery fire. By 9:30 they had cleared 7 of the 8 exits from the beach, allowing the inland advance to begin. At the end of D-Day, nearly 29,000 men and 2,600 vehicles had landed in the Sword area. British losses in the Sword area amounted to 683 men. William Mullins, known as Piper Bill, was a Canadian-born Scottish piper. Mullins landed at Sword Beach and played his bagpipes as his comrades fell around him. He later talked to some captured German snipers who claimed they did not shoot him because they thought he had gone mad. Bill died aged 88 in 2010. The tranquility of Sword Beach, a fitting way to end our tour of the D-Day landings.
Unfortunately, we have run out of time. We thought 6 days would be more than enough to take in the sights, but there's just so much to take in here. We've missed a couple of things out. Utah Beach, unfortunately. However, what we have taken in has been amazing, giving us an insight to what these brave, fearless people went through for our freedoms. And to be fair, it's been an emotional roller coaster. Very, very moving, a lot to take in. So we will return one day to finish off. But in honesty, I think to do it all in one hit, it's hard work getting about. Poignant. And it's so poignant, but it is emotionally draining. Which is selfish on our behalf, because all we're doing here is coming to being tourists. We want these guys running across these beaches 80 years ago into all sorts of carnage. So slightly selfish on our behalf, but we're here to remember them, and what a sterling fine job they did for us all.
We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.